Hey guys, welcome back to Titan Preparedness. I used to think for the longest time that the worst type of prepper was in fact the fear porn prepper. The guy that every single time it rained, it was the end of the world. I used to think that that was the worst type of prepper until I ran into the drunk prepper. Now, what is the drunk prepper and why do you want to avoid him? You see, there's two types of drunk preppers and we're going to discuss both. And it's not the person who sits and has a beer or has a liquor while they're shooting a video. I watch a lot of people who do that. A lot of people who do live streams that'll have a cold beverage, an adult beverage, as they're doing them. No, the drunk prepper is someone who sounds or acts like they're drunk while being completely sober as far as I know. The first type of drunk prepper that we need to talk about is the I'll fight anyone for anything guy. We all know of a person that when they go to the bar, they get one sip of alcohol in them and they're swinging for the fences. It doesn't matter if it's their wife, if it's their best friend, if it's their best man, or if it's a complete stranger, they're swinging. Because that's what they're known for. They want to fight. They get one sip of alcohol in them and they fight. Now from a creator standpoint, obviously you can't swing from behind your keyboard. But this guy will go into your comment section and start a fight. This guy, this creator, just wants to fight. Whether that be with you, whether that be with your best subscriber, or whether that be with a complete stranger, it doesn't really matter. He's going to your videos, he's going to your comment section, he's swinging for the fences, hoping you take the bait. And it doesn't matter if he agrees with what you said, but because of the way you said it, it's different. It's different than the way he thinks. Whether that be religion, whether that be politics, whether that be worldwide views, it's different than what he thinks. So he's going to swing. You're going to have to prove your point to him even though it's your channel, even though it's your content. You made a 15 to 20 minute video, but he wants to pick apart a 10-second part of that video because he disagrees with it. He's going to have you sitting there spinning your wheels, arguing with yourself over nothing, because then he's going to backtrack. Well, I didn't mean it like that. And the fact that you got upset, you got argumentative over it, tells me that you don't believe it yourself, or tells me that you don't agree with it. You see, this guy thinks differently than everyone else. His religion, his politics, his worldviews are different, and because they're different than yours, he wants to argue them. To him, your job is not to create content for the public. Your job is to create content for him, because he sees the world differently than you do. And because he sees it differently than you do, anything you say, do, act, think is wrong, because it's not the way he thinks. And again, he thinks differently than everyone else. So instead of creating content for the wider audience, he wants you to narrow it down for himself, and when it's not for him, he gets argumentative. He calls people out on the religion, he calls people out on politics, he calls people out on their worldviews, because he has nothing going on. He wants to fight. That's his whole goal. Now, he's also the one preaching that we need to come together in the preparedness community. We need to come together and hold hands and sing Kumbaya. But when he has that sip of alcohol, when you go into his comment section, when you go into the comments that he's commenting on, you see the real him. Now, as a viewer of channels who have been attacked by this type of drunk prepper, there's not much you can do. You can sit there and defend your favorite creators. You can sit there and try to get both sides of the argument. But there's not much you can do. As a creator, delete him. Erase him from the channel. He's not worth your time. There's people in particular, if you're thinking about them, they're probably there. If you are the drunk prepper and you try to comment and you realize your comment no longer exists, you're the drunk prepper. You see, for months, I sat and I watched an individual attack other channels, calling them out because they think differently than he does, even though he thinks differently than the rest of the world. I had to block him because I don't have time to sit here and argue my points with another person. There's ways to disagree with people and still have enough respect for said people. Right? I've disagreed with a lot coming from other channels. There's ways to do it. I don't like the LifeStraw personally. I've used it. I don't like it. There's ways that I can disagree with someone who does like the LifeStraw. Hey, I understand you like it for these reasons. I got you. But there's better options out here. These are why they're better. But to tell someone that they're problematic, to tell someone that they're wrong, to tell someone that everything that they know and everything that they've been putting out is incorrect because they support the life straw, is just dumb. Just because someone has a different opinion than you does not mean that they're wrong. And because you have a different opinion from the rest of the world does not make you right. Now, the second type of drunk prepper is a creator type. This is not a guy in the comments section arguing. This is a guy creating videos. This is the philosopher drunk. We all know someone that gets to drinking and thinks that they are a college professor philosopher. This guy will get drunk and will tell you about taxes, will tell you about religion, will tell you about how the world was created and where we went right, where we went wrong. He's a philosopher. And in his mind, in his words, as he's drinking and speaking, he sounds educated to other drunk people around him. We have that in the prep community. We have people who get on their streams, who get on their content, and who sound drunk. And if you are also drunk, you think he's the smartest man alive. My gosh, your words blow my mind. You are absolutely 100% correct in what you're saying about birds aren't real. But if you ever listen to the drunk guy as a sober person, he sounds like a drunk idiot. He's just babbling. He's not making any sense. He's not making his words straight. He's not even making complete sentences. This guy sounds sophisticated and educated to those who support him because they follow in on his beliefs. But to anyone outside that circle, this guy sounds like an idiot. So now, why should we avoid these drunk preppers in our lives? The swing at anything guy, he's going to be your best friend as long as you support him. But the one time you disagree, the one time you think differently than he does, he's swinging. You now have become public enemy number one. And he's going to run you, your channel, your ideas into the ground because you no longer support him. Now, if you are just a viewer and not a creator, this might not be too bad of a thing. But if you are a creator, it's easy to run down someone else's ideas, especially when you have your own following. The sophisticated drunk guy. We need to avoid him because he gives prepping a bad name. When we try to promote prepping as something that is not out in left field, as something that is not, we're only preparing for the end of the world, and the first person that pops up is this crazy nut, then what? How can you promote sane prepping when the biggest person on the platform is insane? He's a nut. He's crazy. To anyone who doesn't fall into his circle, he's an idiot. So guys, again, avoid the drunk prepper. As a creator, simply block his comments. If you are a viewer, simply ignore him. He will go find his next victim. If you're not giving him what he wants, he will move on and go find the next person he can argue with. If you watch people who are the drunk prepper, hopefully you take it with a grain of salt. You can have common sense and still listen to the drunk guy. Make sure you have common sense. Make sure you're not the one promoting the rabbit holes. It makes prepping look bad, it makes creators look bad, and it makes common sense look like a thing that doesn't exist. So again, if you try to comment and you realize your comment has been deleted, chances are you are a drunk prepper. So, what other types of preppers have you ran into that people should avoid? Let me know down in the comments. That's all I got.